afternoon. May I speak to Miss Claudia Perry?
Who is calling?
A good friend. Is she there?
Yes, but she's busy.
Is she all right?
Yes, she's perfectly fine. Do you have a message?
Yes. Please tell her that the plans have changed.
What plans?
She knows.
What is your name?
Helmut. Tell her Helmut.
I will.
Thank you and have a good day.
Who was on the telephone?
A man named Helmut. He was looking for Claudia.
I do not know him.
He asked me to tell you that the plans have changed.
Plans? I don't know about any plans.
Who is Helmut?
I told you I do not know him.
Anna, please continue.
Where was I? Oh yes, when Claudia killed Professor Kinski. Later that night, Ulla confided in Claudia that when she was younger, she worked as a nurse, and Professor Kinski's heart attack looked suspicious. Furthermore, Ulla discovered puncture marks on his neck that were probably made by a syringe. She also told Claudia that she planned to discuss it with Dr. Hartmann.
Mein Gott!
After their conversation, Claudia decided to take care of Ulla. She acted quickly, and we discovered Ulla's body later that evening.
Complete nonsense.
The next morning, Dr. Hartmann decided to investigate. As a doctor, it was obvious to him that something wasn't right, and he suspected that Professor Kinski and Ulla were both killed. Ironically, he discovered the smuggling operation during his investigation. Furthermore, he realized it was run by Otto with the help of Father Lenz.
What a shame. As I said, it is not what you think it is. Oh, never mind. Anna, please, continue.
Dr. Hartmann wanted to share his findings and wrote 2 notes, one to me and one to Walter, asking us to come to the cellar at 11 o'clock, where he wanted to show us the boxes full of cigarettes.
Well, at least Dr. Hartmann wasn't killed by me.
On the contrary, Claudia, you knew Dr. Hartmann discovered something, and so you decided to kill him as quickly as you could. You didn't have time to stage another heart attack, so you stole Mr. Peterson's gun, ran to the cellar, and shot him. Later, you put the gun case in Giovanni's room, and the gun in Professor Kinski's luggage.
You confused us all.
Walter found the body first, and took out his gun, and began to look around. When I entered the cellar, I saw Dr. Hartmann's body, and Walter holding a gun. We argued, and after we searched the cellar, we left and informed everyone of Dr. Hartmann's death.
Nonsense!
When we announced the death of Dr. Hartmann, it turned out Giovanni was missing a pair of shoes. Professor Clark had mislaid his passport, and Mr. Peterson could not find his gun.
For now we know what happened to Mr. Peterson's gun. But what about the shoes and the passport?
We are almost there, Otto. Be patient, please.
Did you find my passport, Anna?
Yes, I did. Here it is. Later that day, Claudia pretended to be attacked. It removed all suspicion from her, but a tiny little detail immediately caught my attention. A syringe from Dr. Hartmann's medical chest. I asked Claudia if she had any visitors, and since she had to improvise quickly, she told me Dr. Hartmann was in her room, which was impossible, because he was in a wheelchair and couldn't make it to the 2nd floor.
I must have mixed him up with somebody else.
Later that night, when I shared my concerns with Otto, Claudia entered the room. She was obviously worried and wanted us to suspect Walter. When I went to the cellar before going to bed, wearing Giovanni's shoes, Claudia locked me up and turned off the lights. And when I got out, I saw the fresh shoe prints made by a man. It was very clever.
How could you, Claudia?
Meanwhile, Mr. Peterson had begun to suspect Claudia. He confronted her and demanded a straight answer. At first, Claudia acted innocent. However, after a while, she pretended she had to show him something. When they got to the backyard, Claudia stabbed him and dragged his body as far away as she could. Then she returned to the hotel and spent the night with Giovanni. A perfect alibi.
You witch!
In order to incriminate Giovanni even more, she smashed his record and scattered its pieces near the cellar door.
A cold-blooded killer.
What happens next is relatively straightforward. We all thought the killer was either Walter or Giovanni. The only problem was that Walter knew that he was not the killer, and he doubted that Giovanni was capable of murder. He suspected Claudia, and she had to keep him quiet.
So many innocent lives.
And there was one last thing I needed to check. It was more or less clear to me that the killer was Claudia. I just didn't know if she had communicated with someone outside.
But the phone lines were down.
Exactly. Yesterday I saw Claudia walking around with a mirror. I decided to do the same, and to my surprise, when I started to reflect the sunlight to the other part of the mountain, I got the same response back. Very clever, Claudia. What do you say?
I won't say anything. Not until I see my lawyer.
Very well.
Police! Open up, police! What is going on here? Is everything all right?
Thank God you are here.
We have a murderer here. Mrs. Claudia Perret.
Mrs. Perret, is this true?
I won't say anything without my lawyer.
All right then. Stay here, please. We need to check the premises. Anna, thank you very much for helping us solve the case.
I'm glad I could help.
We will take Claudia into custody.
That is good to hear.
I suggest you stay at the hotel for one more night, as it is too late to set off on a long trip. Do you mind, Otto?
No, of course not. After everything that has happened, I am not sure I could sleep here alone anyway.
Very well. Have a good rest.
Thank you. Goodbye. I have packed all my belongings, and I'm ready to go. Let's go outside.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Anna.
Good morning. You are welcome, Otto.
Well, I hope you will come here again.
I will.
Anna, I have one question.
Yes?
I don't really know how to say this. About my other business.
Oh, you mean the smuggling? It is none of my business. But you will get caught eventually, Otto. If I were you, I would stop.
Thank you. The car is waiting for you. It will take you to town. Have a safe trip home, Anna.
Take care.